Good morning, Year 9. So this is your 6th lesson on Act 1 of an Inspector Calls. Do you know task is on the board, 3 questions. So can you remember what a drawing room is? Which historical events, there was more than one actually, so events did Mr. Burling discuss in his speech? And what did you learn about some of the relationships between the characters so far? Please pause the video and answer those questions. Awesome. So a drawing room is short for withdrawing room, and it meant the place where you go to after a meal where men and women were split up usually because women were seen to want to talk about clothes and dresses and parties, whereas men wanted to talk about serious things. Historical events that he referenced, he talked about the Titanic and said it would never sink, and we all know of course it did. And he talked about the Germans and said the Germans were peaceful and didn't want war, and actually there were 2 world wars with Germany after because it's set in 1912, so there were 2 world wars within recent years after that. In terms of the relationships between the characters so far, we've looked a little bit at Sheila and how she is very meek at this point, but she does feel sorry for Eva. We've talked about how Mr. Burling does not seem to feel sorry for Eva at all. Mr. Burling likes to tell everybody else what to do. He's really sucking up to Gerald because Gerald's family are richer. What else? Gerald and Sheila, of course, we've worked out that he cheated and she knew that. Okay, good. So we're going to start looking then today at some analysis of this. So we have now listened to the whole of Act 1 in full, but should you want to, it's easy for you to do that again. So you would just need to go onto YouTube and you literally type in an Inspector Calls audiobook and you ignore the adverts at the top. And the one you need is the first free one here that's got the big green thing, okay? So should you want to, it's dead easy for you to go in and out and look at that in more detail. Okay, so I would like you to look back at your summary. So again, this is a task you should have already done. So you should now have the entire summary of Act 1 written. But just take a few minutes, read it through, make sure you're totally happy with it, because that's what you're going to come back to revise with time and time again. So pause the video and do that now, please. Awesome. So we have already talked about the inspector quite a lot. If you haven't already drawn a picture of the inspector, you need to do that now for me and write about what he's like. But this was a task a few lessons ago. So again, it's just making sure we've filled in those gaps and that we're absolutely clear. And then finally, your tasks are on the board. So answering these questions in full sentences. So, well, you've got a choice, haven't you? You can either copy the question and write your answer not in a full sentence, or write in so much detail in your answer in full sentences that you can see exactly what that question was. Okay? And that's it from me for today. Take care.